Okay, imagine this. A common tool, something dentists actually recommend for kids' health, suddenly faces a ban.
Yeah, it sounds completely counterintuitive, doesn't it? Like, finding out brushing your teeth is now discouraged.
Exactly. Well, that kind of surprising shift is what we're diving headfirst into today.
We are. We're going to unpack the FDA's recent decision, their move to ban prescription fluoride supplements for children.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is really to get to the heart of why this is happening. We want to explore the controversy around it.
And figure out what it means for you, for how we all think about keeping kids' teeth healthy.
We've got several articles here looking at the FDA's action, the reactions. It's quite a story brewing.
And what grabs you immediately is this core conflict, right? You have the FDA saying one thing.
While all these major medical and dental groups are saying, wait a minute, that contradicts, well, decades of guidance.
Precisely. It really makes you lean in and ask, okay, what's the real driver here?
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. What exactly is the FDA doing? What are they proposing?
So the FDA, and this is under Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the Commissioner, Dr. Marty Makary, they've announced plans to ban prescription fluoride supplements for kids.
We're talking the tablets, the drops.
Yeah, tablets, drops, lozenges, the things doctors or dentists actually prescribe, and they've set a target date, October 31st. They want them off the market by then.
Wow. Okay. But fluoride, I mean, it's been such a standard recommendation for so long. What reason is the FDA giving for this reversal almost?
Well, their main justification, the reason they've put forward, centers on the gut microbiome.
The gut microbiome.
Yes, they explicitly stated, let me find the quote here. Ingested fluoride has been shown to alter the gut microbiome, which is of magnified concern given the early development of the gut microbiome in childhood.
So the worry isn't about teeth modeling or anything like that. It's about swallowing fluoride and what it might do to the bacteria in a child's developing gut.
That seems to be the focus, yes. Commissioner McCary actually said, the best way to prevent cavities is avoiding excessive sugar intake and good dental hygiene, not by altering a child's microbiome. And he added, when it comes to children, we should err on the side of safety. They also mentioned new dental hygiene guidelines are coming, specifically aimed at avoiding gut health issues.
Okay, that's the FDA's side. But you mentioned this is causing friction, putting them at odds with major health bodies. Who are we talking about?
Oh, it's a significant list. You've got the CDC, the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, the American Academy of Pediatrics,
Rig names.
the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, and the American Dental Association. All these groups currently recommend these supplements, albeit in specific situations.
Right. And just to be clear, these supplements aren't for every single child, are they? It's more targeted.
Exactly. That's a crucial point. The established recommendation is for low-dose fluoride supplements for a limited group, primarily kids in areas without fluoridated water, and who are also considered at high risk for cavities. And importantly, you need a prescription. You can't just buy them over the counter.
So it's a specific tool for a specific problem. What's the reaction been from these groups, like the pediatric dentist, to the FDA saying no more?
A concern is putting it mildly. Dr. Paul Casamassimo from the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry was quite blunt. He said, this removes a choice.
A choice for the dentist and patient.
Exactly. He said it would ban a treatment that is in the best interest of a patient, as determined by a trained, licensed health professional. He even compared it to banning a needed medicine for a disease.
That's a strong analogy.
It is. He also said it removes one of the tools that we as clinicians can use to stem tooth decay. They see it as losing a key part of their toolkit.
Okay, that really frames the dental perspective. Let's dig into the science the FDA is using, though, this gut microbiome link. What does the research actually show? Is it definitive?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The articles we looked at suggest the research the FDA is pointing to about harm to the microbiome. It's described as inconclusive.
Inconclusive, not like a smoking gun showing definite harm.
Apparently not. In fact, some of the literature reviews they likely looked at called the effect uncertain and, get this, potentially even positive at low doses.
Wait, positive? How could fluoride positively affect the gut microbiome? That seems counter to the FDA's whole point.
Well, it's complex. One study, I think from Ireland, suggested that fluoride in oral hygiene products might actually have beneficial effects on the oral microbiome, helping prevent cavities.
Okay, oral microbiome, so mouth bacteria. What about the gut?
Right, different location. Another study, this one from the UK, looked at fluoride's effects more broadly. They found that while really high doses might be harmful, the lower doses seem to have either harmless or even positive effects.
So the dose makes the poison, potentially.
It certainly seems like a key factor, but, and this is important, both reviews stress that the evidence is still limited. They both called for more studies, so we're not talking about a huge body of definitive proof here, it seems.
So it sounds like the FDA might be acting on preliminary findings or maybe interpreting inconclusive data in a very cautious way.
That could be one interpretation. They seem to be prioritizing this potential, but maybe not fully established, risk to gut health over the known benefits for cavity prevention in this specific group of kids.
It's a definite balancing act, isn't it? Potential unknown risk versus known benefit.
It absolutely is. And this decision, it's not happening in a vacuum. If you sort of zoom out,
Yeah.
you see this fits into a larger pattern. There are efforts in various states now trying to ban community water fluoridation.
Right, I've seen headlines about that. How does that connect to the supplements ban?
Well, Dr. Casamasmo, the pediatric dentistry expert we mentioned, he voiced concern about this exact connection. He sees the combined effect questioning water fluoridation and banning supplements as very, very serious for oral health.
Because it removes fluoride access at both the community and individual prescription level.
Precisely. It takes away tools from both ends, potentially leaving more kids vulnerable to decay, especially in those non-fluoridated areas.
And didn't the articles mention Health Secretary Kennedy is also looking at water fluoridation itself?
Yes. He's apparently directed the CDC to revise its water fluoridation guidelines. The sources say he's citing unproven links to various health problems.
Unproven links. But the general consensus has been for decades that low levels are safe, right?
That's the established understanding, yes. While everyone agrees very high fluoride levels aren't good, they can cause tooth mottling, and there are ongoing questions about potential links to things like IQ at high exposures. The low levels used in water fluoridation are widely considered safe and effective for cavity prevention.
Okay, let's try and wrap our heads around this. We have the FDA moving to ban prescription fluoride supplements for kids.
Right. Based on concerns about the gut microbiome, citing research described as inconclusive or uncertain.
This goes directly against recommendations from the CDC, ADA, pediatric groups, and others.
Who argue these supplements are a vital tool for a specific group of high-risk kids, especially without fluoridated water.
And this is happening alongside a broader push to question or even stop water fluoridation in some places.
Correct. Prompted partly by the health secretary raising concerns about its safety, despite long-standing consensus on low-level benefits.
So the takeaway here for you listening seems to be that the FDA is prioritizing a potential, still being researched risk related to gut health over a long-established dental health strategy for certain children.
It really throws the spotlight on how we weigh different kinds of evidence and different types of health concerns, especially when it comes to kids.
It certainly does, and it leaves us with a pretty significant question to chew on, doesn't it?
Definitely. Considering these very different views, the evolving science on the microbiome, what do you think is the most prudent path forward for children's oral health, particularly for kids in communities that don't have fluoridated water?
How do you balance that potential risk, however uncertain, against a proven benefit?
Yeah.
It's not an easy calculation.